with a YA book review for you of The Afterlife of Holly Chase, which I read around Christmas time this year. Well, actually in 2017, because now it's 2018. And this is a retelling, sort of A Christmas Carol. The book is by Cynthia Hand, and the only book I've read by her is the collaborative work My Lady Jane. I do have her Unbound trilogy somewhere, possibly even on these shelves behind me, but I haven't read it yet. So really this follows Holly, and Holly works for a company called Project Scrooge. And then her story is kind of backtold a little bit, that she was a failed Scrooge. They visited her, she didn't change, and because she didn't change, she's kind of in this limbo space in between living and being a ghost. So she can go out and people can see her, but she doesn't age. She says like her body resets every day. So she had a pimple when she died, and so she has that same pimple every day. So she is the ghost of Christmas past now, and things really take a turn. She's still really like materialistic. The backstory is that her mom passed away, and then her father's a movie producer, and he kind of threw himself into his work. He remarried, and the stepmother was really superficial, and it kind of just like became a defensive mechanism for Holly. And that's told really early on in the story, so that's not a spoiler. But what really takes a turn is they get a new Scrooge who's only 17, which is her age, and he's 18 or 17, and his name is Ethan. And there's a lot of parallels between Ethan's life and Holly's life. And she ends up kind of falling for him because she decides that she wants to meet him in real life because she's like enamored with him. And as the ghost of Christmas past, and the way Project Scrooge works is her responsibility is to sift through his memories, and essentially each of the ghosts in their team, so like Holly's team is called Team Lamp, and they essentially have to find like the different characters from A Christmas Carol and match that person or that role in the new Scrooge's life. And so if they don't if the Scrooge doesn't change, usually they end up meeting an early fate like Holly did. So there's a chance that Ethan would, get hit by a car, or, whatever, or he would die on at a specified time if he doesn't change. And that's what happened to Holly. So for me, I'm not sure about this book. It was kind of more contemporary than I thought it would be. I ended up reading the last 172 pages in one sitting because I just wanted to get it done so I could move on to something else. And I think part of it for me was that Holly was still really unlikable for probably over half of the book. She does start to change, and then the ending was sort of rushed, but then I also kind of liked the ending, and it was pretty emotional. I remember crying, just because it, pulls at your heartstrings. And so this book was just okay for me, but the ending kind of bumped up the rating a little bit to maybe like 3.5 stars. If you like contemporary, I think you'd like this a little bit more. I mean, there's a teeny tiny bit of magic with the whole Project Scrooge thing, but I guess I was maybe hoping, I don't know, I think I was going in hoping for something else with this. I didn't realize, I have a hard time if I don't like the protagonist, and I really wasn't a fan of Holly because she was real manipulative for, like I said, at least over half of the book. The book's also kind of long. It's almost 400 pages. And my hair. It's almost 400 pages, but I think I would have liked it maybe a little bit shorter, like closer to 300, because some of the parts are really drawn out. The book itself is really gorgeous. This red part is, I don't know if you can tell, it's shiny, so it's metallic. I don't think the cover underneath is anything special, but it's a nice, pretty Christmassy red. It has deckled pages, and they're like super deckled because when I was reading it, parts of them would like flake off into my bed. So I don't know. I always thought I liked deckled pages, but now I'm thinking they're kind of messy, depending on how they're done. The back is also really pretty. It has a pretty print on it. So if you like contemporary and you like Christmas, I think you'd like this book. I also read My True Love Gave to Me for Christmas, and I started so that I read a story every morning and then finished on Christmas Eve morning, and that had a lot of contemporary stories in it, but I really liked them. There wasn't a story I didn't like. Now I know some people didn't like that book. I think one of my friends said she sat down and read it linearly, like a regular book, and she didn't like that, and I don't think I would have liked it if I read it like that either. But I read a story a day, so it was almost like a fresh, you know, something new, and you didn't get attached to a character and then have that jarring effect of starting a new story with new characters. But I really loved that book, and I think I want to check out, I own a couple Rainbow Rowell books, I just haven't ever read them, and the short story in there by her I really liked, and there was a story by Holly Black in there, and then a bunch of authors that I'm not super familiar with. I've read Kirsten White, so she was in there and I liked her story. But basically, that was a great anthology if you're looking for a Christmassy book. They also have the summer version of that with different authors. I think Leigh Bardugo even has a story in that one. So I plan on reading that one closer to summertime. And I also plan on reading Because You Love to Hate Me. I think that would be good to read around Valentine's Day. It's another anthology of short stories. But I digress. So essentially, if you like contemporary and A Christmas Carol, you'd probably enjoy this retelling. And if you're looking for something else, you may want to check out My True Love Gave to Me. I'm not going to do a video for that one, but it's the book, the most common version has a pond, and then there's pairs skating on the pond, ice skating, and each of those pairs matches a couple from the stories in the anthology. So, excuse me, I have a head cold. So I've been putting off this video, but I can't put it off forever. So that's another good Christmas one to check out. Do you have a favorite holiday recommendation? If so, let me know and I'll add it to my list to check out next year, maybe for Christmas in July or something like that. So, The Afterlife of Holly Chase. In the meanwhile, happy reading.